9 minutes past 1. Well, the United States is to arm rebel fighters in Syria for the first time after accusing President Assad's regime of using chemical weapons against its own people. The White House hasn't said what form the aid could take, but some reports suggest that America is also considering setting up a no-fly zone in Syria. I've been hearing more from the journalist Nabila Ramdani, who specialises in Arabic affairs.
It has to be said that it's not the first time that we've heard about the possible use of chemical weapons. In fact, the first time we've heard such an allegation was by the UN about the rebel forces, in fact, using chemical weapons. But this time around, the United States said they have conclusive evidence that the Assad regime has been using chemical weapons, and as far as they're concerned, this constitutes a clear red line which has now been crossed, and this is triggering the US offering military support to the rebel forces.
What exactly is the White House saying has gone on in Syria which could change things from an international perspective?
Well, the Obama administration claims that between 100 and 150 people have been killed because of the use of the deadly gas sarin. But this, has to be said, comes on the day when the United Nations highlighted the fact that so far 93,000 people have been killed in the conflict, and this is a conservative figure. So observers are already asking that, saying that the overall amount of people who have been killed so far constitutes a red line enough.
The Obama regime is now threatening military intervention, direct military intervention. What do you think that means or could mean in practical terms? You know, are we talking about the supplying of heavy weapons, for example?
The rhetoric of the Obama administration remains very vague as to what kind of weapons or what kind of military support overall they will be providing to the Syrian rebel forces. Are we talking about serious hardware or small weapons? But what is for sure that we will see this aid increasing over time, and arming the Syrian rebels is indeed a clear statement of intent. It means that the Obama administration is determined to see the Assad regime toppled, and it is giving the Syrian opposition the confirmed backing of the world's only military superpower, which will put them in a far stronger position. And with the world powers meeting shortly at the G8 summit, we can expect Britain and France to follow suit. These are two countries which have never ruled out the possibility of arming the rebels. And in fact, they've tried to bypass an EU embargo to arm the rebels.
I was just about to ask you about that, actually. Obviously, the G8 summit is happening here in Northern Ireland on Monday. I'd imagine this will actually top the agenda or be very high on it.
Well, very much so. The decision made by the U.S. administration to arm the rebels in Syria will be a talking point and high on the agenda of the world leaders meeting in Northern Ireland. But we can also expect coordination from Western countries to arm the rebels in a way that will be determine the outcome of this civil war in Syria.
Just finally, Nabila, it remains to be seen if other Western countries will be sucked into this conflict. I see that the British government has just been giving its reaction. The Foreign Secretary, William Hague, is now calling for a coordinated response from the international community. It does sound very much like the conflict could be about to escalate very seriously.
Well, that's a distinct possibility indeed. Britain has always been willing to arm the Syrian opposition. I think they have been reflecting a lot in Britain about who the weapons should go to. But with America going in so forcefully, I think we can expect Britain to join in and indeed arm the Syrian opposition.
Nabila Ramdani there, who's a specialist in Arabic affairs.